Welcome along. We begin our roundup of week 32 at the Stade Geoffroy Guichard, where Saint-Etienne were oh so close to becoming just the third team this season to beat Paris Saint-Germain. Rémy CABELLA swept in the opening goal for Ligue on 17 minutes, his 7th of the season. But PSG rescued a point at the death as Thomas Meunier crossed in for Kylian Mbappe and Mathieu DEBUCHY turned the ball into his own net. Saint-Etienne nevertheless at 10 games unbeaten. PSG can seal the title at home to Monaco next week. Well, speaking of Monaco, they're closing in on second place after getting the better of Nantes and their former coach Claudio Ranieri. The Canaries went ahead as Adrien THOMASSON fired in one of the goals of the weekend. How about that for his 4th of the campaign? No chance for Daniel Subasic. But the champions hit back with 2 quick-fire goals before half-time. Ronnie Lopez rather inadvertently setting up Radamel Falcao for 1-1. The Colombian up to 18 for the campaign. Well, Lopez made it 10 for the calendar year as he turned and fired in 3 minutes later. 2-1 it finished. Memphis Depay was the star of the show as Lyon won 5-0 away from home for the 4th time this season, romping to victory over bottom-side Metz. Brazilian defender Marcelo nodding in a cross from the Dutch international in the very first minute, and the second goal was almost a carbon copy from the other side this time. Depay got on the score sheet himself after the break. He's now up to 13 goals for the campaign. And 3 minutes later, the former Manchester United man completed his hat-trick of assists. Bertrand Traoré applying the finish, number 8 of the season for the Burkina Faso international. There was even time for Mariano Diaz to come off the bench and also make the most of Depay's generosity. The former Real Madrid man's now Lyon's top scorer with 17 goals. A 5-star performance from Bruno Genesio's side, and that man Depay in particular. Well, that result was enough to push Lyon back to 3rd above Marseille, who were held to a goalless draw by Montpellier. Not an easy game for Rudy Garcia's side, squashed between 2 legs of their Europa League quarter-final against RB Leipzig. They had the better chances, Morgan Sanson clipping the post, while Costas Mitroglou was denied brilliantly here by Benjamin Lecomte, but it finished 0-0 at the Velodrome. Rennes remained 5th after playing out a draw with their fellow European contenders Nice. Alassane Plea gave Nice the lead with a helping hand here from Jérémy Gélin, his 7th goal in 4 outings and 13th of the season. But Benjamin Bourigeaud got Rennes back on level terms 10 minutes later as they extended their unbeaten run to 8 games, 1-1 the final score. Guingamp all but guaranteed their survival with a comfortable victory over struggling Troyes. Nicolas Benazet side-footing in from a Clément Grenier corner on 23 minutes. Ludovic Blas made it 2-0 at the start of the second half. He's now scored 3 of his 4 Ligue and Conforama goals off the bench. Well, the third goal was a strange one because, as you can see, there were 2 balls on the pitch. The referee allowing play to go on though, and it was a simple finish for Yeni Ngbakoto. There was even time for Jimmy Briand to add a 4th as Guingamp matched their best result of the season. Briand with his first goal since December, 4-0 it finished. Dijon also look like they'll be back next term after picking up just their 2nd away win of the campaign in Toulouse. The only goal of the game, a fairly scrappy one. Wesley Saïd's effort was blocked by Alban Lafont, and there was Chang Hoon Kwon to sweep in the rebound. The South Korean with his 8th of the campaign as it finished at 1-0. Toulouse remained 17th. Bordeaux finally snapped a 6-game winless streak as they got the better of Lille. The struggling visitors took the lead on 14 minutes through Lebo Matiba, the South African with his 3rd goal since returning on loan from Valenciennes in January. But a mistake from goalkeeper Hervé Kofi allowed Bordeaux to draw level. Francois Camano heading in his 4th of the season. And 3 minutes later he got his 5th as the Girondins came from behind to win for the first time this season. 2-1, Lille now winless in 9. Amiens moved 8 points clear of the relegation playoff place as they eased to victory over Caen. Paquet Debassi put the hosts ahead on 20 minutes, volleying in his first Ligue and Conforama goal from close range. Serge Gakpé got the 2nd 10 minutes later, transforming this mishit effort from Thomas Moncondry into an assist. 2 chances and 2 goals for Amiens. The 3rd arrived early in the second half. Great work from Gaël Kakuta and Moussa Kanate turning in his 10th of the campaign. 3-0, a 4th straight defeat for Caen. Finally, Angers and Strasbourg shared the spoils after an entertaining encounter at Raymond Copper. Karl Toko Ekambi, who else, put Angers ahead on just 6 minutes. The Cameroon forward with his 17th goal of the campaign. but Strasbourg rescued what could be a vital point as Jonas Martin swept in a second-half penalty after being brought down by Vincent Monceau. It finished 1-1, but Strasbourg remained without a victory since mid-February. So all the results from week 32 with 25 goals scored. Big wins for Amiens, Guingamp and Lyon, while Saint-Etienne was seconds away from beating PSG for the first time since November 2012. In the end, it wasn't to be. Lyon are now third ahead of Marseille by virtue of goal difference, and the battle for that final Champions League spot promises to be fascinating. Rennes remain the best of the rest in fifth. They're just ahead of Montpellier and Nice. It's as you were down the bottom after defeats for Toulouse, Troyes, Lille and Metz. Strasbourg now 5 points clear of the relegation playoff place, while wins for Dijon and Bordeaux mean that they're practically home and dry. Next week sees Lyon host Amiens, while Marseille will head to Troyes after attempting to overturn that 1-0 deficit against Leipzig in the Europa League. All eyes will then be on the Parc des Princes, where PSG can seal a 7th Ligue 1 title with victory over the champions Monaco.